Work-related stress and burnout in men. A topic that I'm going to share with you today and some tips around this and what I've worked through. Welcome to the Men's Mental Health Podcast. Now, I've been in a place in my career where I've been so miserable, so exhausted, stressed that, this is years back, but I've called in sick because just the thought of going to work and handling some of the pressures was just too much for me. Not every day and not like a long-term thing, but I've been guilty of that. And also going into work and just feeling that absolute dread, the stress, and those situations. And I've had a bit of stress in business as well and all sorts of things. Now, I think this is often an uncommon thing. An uncommon thing. Let me say that again. It is a common thing for guys to experience. And it's not very common that people voice it too much, particularly men, right? But that's the thing, it can really cause people to suffer. There was a guy, sadly, and this is the extreme case, who I didn't know very well, but he worked in one of the places I worked, and then he moved on to somewhere else. But he used to work 80 plus hours a week, 100 hours. And I know that's kind of like reinforced, and I don't think it's good. But some people work in that way and they love it. They're like lit up. They love what they're doing. That's different. But this guy then worked somewhere else and he died of a heart attack from stress. That is the most extreme case it can happen. So we can suffer a lot. So I think it's a really important point to talk about and working through this and what has worked for me. Obviously, I'm not a health professional. I'm just a man sharing his story. But I've been in places where I hated going in, just extreme anxiety. I'd wake up like worrying about work and all these kind of things. And it impacted my energy as well, mentally and physically. So I want to give a few tips today on what has helped me. Number one, train yourself physically well. Train yourself, exercise, eating well makes a massive difference. When I've been struggling, it's when I've had a lot of sugar in particular, or maybe too much alcohol at the weekend. And those things can cause brain fog, which sounds like I've got it there, which therefore impacted my ability to deliver stuff, which therefore caused more stress. So make sure physical health is a fundamental. And you may hear this stuff again and again, but actually living it and knowing about it are two different things. When you know about something like, I know I should be healthy, I know how to eat healthy and exercise, but if you're not doing it consistently, you don't really know it, because living it is a completely different thing. So health, physical health is foundation to your emotional health. Like, things can give us brain fog. They can give us anxiety. They can give us stress just by the food we eat, the water we drink. Water is obviously good to drink, but even like there can be unhealthy water, so make sure it's filtered water. So just stick to the basics. Don't overcomplicate health. Have your treats like now and then, but dominantly eating fresh foods and drinks and not these processed things, because that can impact on our brain. So that's number one, and that can therefore cause the lack of focus. I know for me, when I've been having too much sugar, it causes a lack of focus, even if it's short-term excitement. And as a result, I'm not able to sit down and concentrate, which causes a backlog of work, therefore more stress. But when I eat cleanly and I've had like detoxes and I can think clearly, that significantly increases my productivity. Number two, also train yourself emotionally, whether you're in a good place or not, or you're neutral. I always believe in the mental gym as well as the physical gym. And actually, I don't have a gym. I just work out at home because I prefer it. But that's my physical gym. But the mental gym is training yourself in terms of the way you think, because challenges are going to come up. Our brain looks for dangers, and it will therefore catastrophize, I didn't even say that word, make things a catastrophe and make things very dramatic if we don't train it. So when you hear something or someone says something and you feel like in the body or this discomfort, then pay attention to that. Look at what the underlying beliefs are. Like yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone, and this isn't necessarily work related, but in my personal life, and a couple of things really came up for me. And it wasn't anything that she had said, a beautiful person, and I just, like, I had these kind of like, this sudden feel like, so I had to sit with it and figure out what it was about, right? It's really important to train yourself emotionally and pay attention. Do things like breath work, like meditation, whatever works for you, but make sure every day you're committing to mentally training yourself at the gym, the mental gym. Number 3, be realistic in time. This is what's called me the most stress. It's like, I'm going to do this, and this, and you got like 50 things on your to-do list, and you don't account for like how much time it's going to take, or maybe you schedule it in your calendar, but you schedule like 30 minutes for a 2-hour task. You don't put any breaks in your day, and therefore like your realistic time is not realistic. So, or your view of what's realistic is not realistic. So be very realistic with your time. How long are things going to take you? Blocking out in your calendar realistically is something that can really help, I found, and reduce stress and burnout. If you know you've got a day where there could be spontaneous things thrown at you, allow that blocked in your calendar as well. And that's why I find it important to get the most important tasks of the day done early on and block that off, because when you can do that, that's before like things start coming alive and people start coming to you and all sorts of things. So block realistic time. Number 4, have a support system. Really, really key. Even if it's just one person. Have someone you can talk to when you're feeling stress. All right. I've even got so stressed that I've called Samaritans, which is a good helpline before. There's all sorts of alternatives you can do in terms of support systems. But just start off with like one person, speak to one person. Even these mental health support lines can really help. Don't come to the lowest of the lows to do it, but just reach out and speak, because that's important. And then number 5, a work in progress, definitely on this one. In fact, I've got a challenge to sit with myself for 4 hours and do nothing, not even write, given to me. So that's going to be interesting. Stay away from technology where needed. I'm not saying don't enjoy your Netflix at the weekends. I'm not saying you can't interact with people on Facebook or Instagram and have chats with them and check out some things like now and then. But if you're already stressed and got a mental workload, actually consuming loads and loads of things on like social media in particular, you know, sometimes a movie can be good, like to chill and stuff like that. But like when you've got like loads of information, like which is like scary or overwhelming on social media, then that can exhaust you as well. So stay away, give yourself a break from mentally overloading yourself. Because actually I wasn't even conscious to how much I was taking in and stressing myself and looking at social media. Like if I spend too long on social media, I get overwhelmed by the amount of things people doing with fancy videos and tech, all these kind of things, right? And I'm quite a simple guy with my podcast. I'm like, right, mic, video, go. And then I can see people and be like, okay, that's the right camera angle. I've got to edit this, edit that. And it just gets a bit exhausting, or like so-and-so's doing this. So just keep very simple. Stay away from too much like technology and exhaust when you're exhausted. Just have a break, get out in nature, listen to some music, but try and stay away from your phone. Put it on the airplane mode or whatever you need to do. So those are my tips on work-related stress and burnout. As a man, these are things that work for me. Another one I would just add would be know your body type and know your personality type. Like I look at human design. For me, I'm a manifester. I don't like the word manifest, but that's what I have as a human in human design. And that means I get very creative. I'm very expressive. I like to share my voice, as you can probably tell. But like, I'm not built for continuously overloading myself with repetitive tasks. I get exhausted. So I know I have to rest at certain points. So know what kind of person you are. How does your sleep work? When is your best spells for like energy and things like that? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So thank you so much for listening. I will recap the points one final time. So number 1, look after your health. Number 2, train your emotions every day, little and often. Number 3, be realistic on time. How long are things going to take? Do you need to block off your calendar for certain things and more responsive reactive tasks? Number 4, have a support system. Number 5, stay away from tech when you're exhausted. So that's what I've got for you today. Appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.